I'm actually uploading my video from last night right now. I wanted to go over a few things. I've got my notes, so I'm going to try to stay on task. I've been getting better at that. I have gotten a few more subscribers. I'm trying to get a lot more because I'm trying to get the word out now that I am pretty sure what is going on. If you notice, if you've actually watched my first videos, I know they're kind of a bore. It's me ranting sometimes. I talk about a lot of different things. Because quite frankly, I don't know what the hell I have. And I would get little clues and pieces here and there, and it would match what I would suspect for a long time. And then I'd get that clue and be like, oh, well, yeah, I've suspected that for a really long time. So it fit. But then I go to the doctor, and that lab would not be what it was before. This is what I've been dealing with for almost 3 years now. I would get a lab that's abnormal, and then the next time they test it, it's normal again. So it's pointed to a lot of diseases, and then pointed towards not being that disease. I actually was treated for lupus. I don't have lupus. I was diagnosed technically. I technically am now diagnosed with fibromyalgia, even though I really don't have any symptoms of fibromyalgia. I don't have any of the diagnostic markers for fibromyalgia at all. If you look at it in a way, and that's kind of an oxymoron, because diagnostic means to diagnose. Would imply to diagnose, and fibromyalgia isn't a diagnosis, it's a symptom of a diagnosis, so that just didn't make any sense, but to a doctor it would. So anyways, I'm going to try to keep a lot of these videos really short. I think that helps get more information out, because most people would rather sit here and watch a 15 to 25 minute video than sit here and listen to me rant and talk about the same damn thing for an hour. Hell, I would too. So I've got my bullets, and so here we go. The biggest question that I get, that every Floxy gets, is, how long have you been Floxed? Well, I don't know, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I started to get sick, noticeably sick, December 2013. However, I had a dose of Cipro and a bunch of steroids from my shoulder swelling up randomly out of nowhere, and then my back muscle swelling up randomly out of nowhere, and then this shoulder swelling up out of nowhere earlier that year. And then it kind of laid low for the rest of 2013. And then December 2013, December 23rd, 2013, I will never forget that date, is when all hell broke loose. So I don't know. It could have been before that. As I said, I was a very sickly child. I've always been very sickly. I've had Cipro and Levaquin my whole life. It could have been, I could have been floxed several times. It could have laid dormant several times. I used to take ibuprofen like candy, because I didn't want to go to pain management until the last year or so. Even though everybody begged me to because of how much pain I was in, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be that statistic, you know. But it finally got to where the weight I was gaining, because the pain made me unable to do certain things, I had to go to pain management. Because then the weight made the pain more. So it was kind of a cycle. So then I look back at my thyroid messed up back in 2008. And then it returned to normal about 2.5, 3 years later. My doctor explained to me that sometimes that happens. I don't know if it does or not. I don't trust doctors now, so I don't know. I've mentioned that to some doctors, and they're just like, And I add the comment that the doctor made to me that, my doctor said that sometimes that just happens, and they're like, So I don't know how accurate that was. But I always choked my thyroid being messed up to a car wreck that I had right before my thyroid messed up. So I don't know. It could have been then. I don't know. That's the biggest question everybody always asks Floxies. So how long have you been floxed? It's just a common thing, that we ask. How long have you been floxed? How long have you been in recovery? What's your regimen? What's your, I don't know. I don't know how long I've been floxed. I have gone onto Walgreens site. Luckily, I have used the same pharmacy. It's not the same store, but it's the same chain. Almost my whole life. They only go back 15 months online. And I looked, and my last dose of Cipro, I was actually able to confirm this. My last dose of Cipro was March, I believe it was March 23rd, 2015. So I actually had a dose of Cipro last year. So that probably didn't help matters. But I can actually, there's a form that I'm getting ready to print out, fill out, and mail. And you can get up to, I think, 8 to 10 years worth. I thought about going back to 2008 and going ahead and getting that information and seeing maybe if I had Cipro around the time of the wreck, because I have documentation. I obviously have documentation of when the wreck happened. And I obviously have documentation of when my thyroid started messing up. Because right before the wreck, I weighed 125 pounds. I fluctuated between 125 and 135 pounds. And I was in a size 5 jeans. And this was after having a child just a year and a half postpartum. Got back down to my normal weight. And then I got in a car wreck that really didn't totally disable me. It hurt my neck more than anything. And it just reduced some of my activity a little bit. And all of a sudden my thyroid messes up and I start gaining a bunch of weight. So yeah, I'm going to, I recommend everybody do this if you want to kind of pinpoint. Maybe you're not sure. If you've used a consistent pharmacy, or maybe 2 or 3, but you know which pharmacies you've used, you can request that information for yourself. And just use the highlighter and get a paper copy and use the highlighter every time you see Cipro. And yeah, you could see when you were first floxed, or when you could have been floxed, or how many times you've been floxed. So you can kind of match that to your symptoms around then. What I do is, luckily, I told you about my big binder that I have with all my records of everything. So once I get that information, I'll be able to compare the times I was diagnosed or prescribed Cipro, and I'll be able to compare that to hospital records, doctor's notes, when what I was seen for around that time. And if I was seen after given the Cipro. Also, I'm preparing for my appointment, so I've got my med list ready. I usually take my MAR, my medication administration record. I usually take my MAR. However, honestly, this past month with me not having my pain management, I have just not given a shit about anything. I've not kept my MAR. I just take my meds when I keep my box. I've got my little, pill box that I take, and I leave it beside me, and I just take my meds when I know I'm supposed to. I have dumbed down to the total basic medications that I need to sustain my life right now, and they're not even helping. So I'm almost wondering if I even need half of those. But I'm wondering, I'm scared. I'm too scared to get off of them because I don't even want to know. So I don't even have a MAR. I don't even think I had a MAR for May, and I haven't made one for June, and it's already the 7th. So I just went ahead and printed them off a sheet because I know they're going to ask me, and it's just a whole lot easier to hand them a piece of paper with it than write it all down because there's way too many, because they want your PRNs and all that, and there's just too much. And also, following up on the video that I'm posting right now, about the education, for the most part, I think I've been incorrect. And I want to correct this. I think I've made a boo-boo. And I want to correct this. And I am very quick. I will fight to the death if I know I'm right. But if I've made a mistake, and if I'm pointed out to be wrong, I will be the first to admit that I'm wrong. So I made a boo-boo, and I'm going to correct that right now. I have been shaming these doctors for giving us these medications, right? So I've been talking about how I gotta scoot over. This pillow is not supporting me the way I'm wanting it to. I've been shaming these doctors for prescribing us these medications, knowing the consequences, right? I've been saying that. However, I've spoken to some people in this group and through messaging and whatnot, and they have actually told me, and this is probably, put this simply, there are two types of doctors, okay? And then you've got your third that know about the flocks and want to help you, okay? So you got that third type over here. But the two that cannot help you with being flocks, there's two types. The first one, and this is where I made the boo-boo. Even though the FDA came out in 2008 and 2013 and put out the warnings saying do not give these antibiotics unless absolutely necessary, a lot of doctors were not warned. Supposedly, and I actually spoke to a actual physician about this. When he gets his medications from his supplier, he tried to put it as short as possible. When he gets his medication samples, what have you, because sometimes, they give out samples, and even antibiotics, they give out samples. They come in a box. You would think that's where the warning would be. Well, of course you have your insert. Who the hell reads the insert? The doctor gives it to you. You trust it. Well, the doctor thinks the same thing, because they don't get the original box that it comes in. They take it out and they store it wherever they store it and whatever. The doctors are also victims in a way, because they trust the pharmaceutical companies that are endorsing their product to them and telling them, hey, we're FDA regulated, this drug has been tested, this drug is safe to give to your patients, just like the doctor is saying, hey, this drug has been FDA regulated, this drug is safe for me to give to you. Same as the pharmacist. When you get your prescription, they ask you, do you have any questions for the pharmacist? No. What would I have? I don't have any questions. You do. You do now. Will this cause any long-term adverse reactions from now on about any medication you get? That is your question to the pharmacist. Does this medication have the potential for any long-term side effects? You now have a question for the pharmacist when you pick up your medication, no matter what it is. Okay? Got it? Get it? Got it? Good. Okay. Moving on. So, during gathering, I've been gathering some research. I've got somebody who's got a lot of research, a lot of juicy research and information that she's going to share. Sorry, no spoilers. And I'm going to gather some more research, and I'm going to try to get a group together, even if it's a small one. So I'm trying to get more subscribers, because I'm trying to get a group of Floxies together, and not only tell everybody else as patients, I want to get the word out to these doctors, because I was told by several people that first type of doctor, they don't know. We've been blaming these doctors. They don't know. A lot of people commented. This one person has said something that he or she's doctor didn't know about the whole ordeal with fluoroquinolones. And then a lot of people commented that theirs didn't either. And then I messaged back to a couple people that I had been speaking to online. And they also said that when they first brought it up to their doctor was willing to work with them on it. But at first, their doctor had no clue what they were talking about. They had no clue that this warning was on this antibiotic. And they were giving it as a first or second line defense instead of a last resort. So I want to somehow reach out to the medical world and tell the local doctors, hey, you're killing your patients. You're lining them up for a death sentence of disabilities and more sickness. And then when they come to you, you're not going to know what they have. You're not going to believe them. You're going to treat them like shit. And then they're not going to be your patient anymore. So you're going to lose your patient. just because you prescribe them this particular antibiotic. Okay, now, that second type of doctor is the type of doctor who may or may not believe about the whole flox thing, but they don't think it's a real thing. It's just like the whole fibromyalgia. They think it's an actual diagnosis, and they will diagnose patients with it. And if you dare speak the words, I don't think it's a diagnosis, I think it's a symptom, they will write that in your chart and suggest you go to a different doctor to be treated for it. They won't treat you for it. They will start talking about treatment, but then as soon as you open your mouth and talk about how, you're concerned because you don't think it's a symptom, or you think it's a symptom of a disease and not a disease itself, they will shut the fuck up and suggest you go to a different doctor and refer you to a different doctor or refer you to your primary physician for treatment. Don't believe me? Somebody with fibromyalgia? Try it. Because that'll happen. With any doctor who is that second type of doctor. Because they have it in their, bullheaded mind that they are right, and, this newfangled shit isn't, just because it's new doesn't mean it's wrong. And it's not new, it's been around, it just, everybody wanted to ignore it for a while. So, yeah, we need to spread the word. We need to get these antibiotics off of the line and out of people's hands and out of people's mouths. And we need to let the doctors know not to give it to their patients, because apparently a lot of doctors are not aware of this. Luckily, I found a doctor who is aware of this. They are more holistic healing, which is expensive. And that is the problem with being floxed, is you most likely have to go to a holistic type doctor. And insurance doesn't cover that. Go figure. That's why I had to stop going to this medical office to begin with. Whenever I was seeing them, was because my insurance wasn't covering the treatments that they were starting to put me on, and I ran out of money. And right now, I've not had a job since November, so we're actually, yeah. So anyways, I'm almost to my 25-minute mark. So yeah, I'm going to be gathering, my next post, I'm going to do a quick post on what I find out at the doctor's office tomorrow. And then separate from that, I'm going to do another post that includes research that I do from what the doctor tells me. As well as I'm also going to post a list, I may go through them verbally, of all the fluoroquinolones, so you can be aware, as well as other research. And if you want to become part of a group or whatever we want to be called, to help spread the word to patients and doctors to stop taking it and to stop prescribing it, please let me know, because I'm only one person. And I don't know how many people there are here in the southern Indiana, Louisville area that are floxed. I'm sure there's tons. I'm sure there's tons of you who don't even know you are. And I hope that you find this and find out that there really is something wrong with you, because this whole time I'm like, there's something wrong with me. And I got to the point where I was like, I don't even care if they tell me it's cancer at this point. I just want there to be something. Because I know there's something wrong with me. I just don't know what. Well, now I know. And unfortunately, it's this. Pretty sure. Really, really sure. So, going to the doctor's tomorrow. I will post updates, and again, keeping the videos short, so maybe you'll keep interest in it. And please share. You're more than welcome to share videos. You're more than welcome to share my channel to anyone. We need to spread the word. We need to spread education and the knowledge of this, and we need to get it stopped. Obviously, the FDA is not going to be able to do that. You'd think, being a government organization, they'd be able to do that. But obviously, it's up to us, those who have been victimized. It's up to us to get this to stop before more victims happen. So I'll leave you with that, and I will post tomorrow about my doctor's visit.